Welcome to this Qualoupe class in which we're going to look at creating new users using the People Manager, and those users can also include Qualoupe users. They're both created using the same application. So here's the People Manager app, so I shall click on that, open it up. Okay, People Manager application is open, so we're going to start off, we're going to create a new record. A lot of these applications start like this in a blank data mode. So click on New Record, and I'm going to enter some details for my new person. So choose a title. And I'm going to type in the first name and the last name. You have options to put in things like a nickname. Notice we have a checkbox here for Qualoupe User. I shall come back to that in a moment. Let's put in a few more details here. Job title, Lab Manager. Okay, select that. And if I click on Department, we can choose a department. Let's have QC. And you can choose the company. This looks up from the records you've already entered for company, so if I click on that, there's a couple in there. Just waiting for the screen to catch up. Let's have that one. Okay, and then we can do things like say they're male, so that you notice this little generic picture here changes. Date of birth, remarks, that sort of thing, which I won't bother filling in. So I'm going to save the changes. So you can also put in addresses, communications, which is email, web, instant messaging address, attached documents competencies relates to training, which is covered in a separate Qualoupe class, so we'll leave that out for now. I'll stick in an address. So we'll go address line 1. Hopefully most of this stuff's fairly self-explanatory. Scroll down a bit so we can see the bottom of the screen. County. Could probably do with a capital B. Okay, so I've just put in some scant details for this user, and this is how you create a person record, a people record in Qualoupe. But you might actually want to be creating a Qualoupe user. It might not just be contacts for companies, etc. are stored in here as well. So to turn this record into a Qualoupe user, we'll go and check the Qualoupe checkbox. You see we have a Qualoupe tab here, which is greyed out. So I'm going to click on that. That tab becomes enabled and then becomes the focus. So we're going to have to supply a username for logging in, and with a username we'll need a password. You see at the side here it says changing the username will require a new password. So let's create a username. I'm going to put caps lock on. G. Okay, and save that. Now as soon as I save it, it requires a password, as it says. So we have to confirm the password I'm using to log in. I'm logged in as admin at the moment, so I shall confirm my administrator password. and then the new password is going to be the password for this new user I've just created. So let's just stick in a password. You have to repeat it just to make sure that you've typed the same thing twice, just to avoid typos. So they're both green, which means the passwords match. Change the password. Okay, now this is the first stage in the Qualoupe user. We've created the user, we've given them a username and a logon, but we actually also need to assign them some permissions to access different applications within Qualoupe, and this is done via the Roles Manager. I'm going to access this by going Tools. I think it's on my favourites. Yes, it is. And if I click on the middle button of the mouse, the scroll wheel, that should open in a new tab. So I can have People Manager and Roles Manager open at the same time. So my new user is now available to add, and I'm going to add them to Lab Manager by Highlight, Add, Save, and I'm also going to add them to Reports, Highlight, Add, Save. I'm going to cover the full functionality of the Roles Manager in a separate Qualoupe class. So that will do for now. So they're a member of Reports, they're a member of Lab Manager, so I can close the Roles Manager. In theory I can, there we are. And I'm going to log out of Qualoupe. And I'm going to log back in again as that new user to make sure that it's all worked, just to test it. Just waiting for the application to catch up a bit. Okay, and log in. Well, I know this has been successful because we're in. We can see user Pope G at the top, and because I added my new user to 2 roles, each of the roles I added them to appear as a tab. So we've got the Lab Manager tab with the applications that are available as part of that role, and the Reports tab, which is a selection of reports that this user will then be able to access. Okay, so that concludes this Qualoupe class. Hopefully it was useful. Thank you for watching.